Today I'm going to be giving a little information and review on nasal snuff, why I chose it over dipping. Nasal snuff, from the research that have done, has considerably less health risks than dipping or smoking does, especially smoking. In the last 250 years, there have been 2 reported cases of cancer from it. And in the 300 years in England, there hasn't been a single health issue brought up against the snuff makers. It used to be popular in the United States up until about the 1750, I'm guessing, between 1750 and 1800. In fact, there's 2 snuff boxes in Congress that are routinely filled with snuff because there was a lot of congressmen back in the 1700s that used it. I started using it because I started getting pretty bad sores in my mouth from dipping, and I just wasn't enjoying it anymore. I dipped for 5 years and I hated doing it. And I was spending more money on that than what I would in a month than what I would spend on snuff. What I'm spending on snuff now. I can make a 25-gram tin of snuff last 2 to 3 weeks as compared to a can of dip, which is about the exact same amount, which would last me about 2 days. So I'm saving money in the long run. I started about 2 months ago, and a month, 2 months ago, something like that, with some homemade snuff that I had made. It was terrible quality. But within 2 weeks of starting it, I was able to quit dipping because I had no more urge to dip. And a lot of people use it as a nicotine replacement therapy as opposed to using patches. They quit other more dangerous forms of tobacco use with snuff. And yes, because it's tobacco, there are health risks, but they're so low in comparison that it's not really worth acknowledging it. There has been only a few studies done on it, and I mean, they're just so few that it's really not worth acknowledging. I'm probably going to be going over the snuff, one of my favorite snuffs today. Fribourg Treyer Kendal Brown. I just got this in my last order, and I really enjoy it. I mean, out of all the snuffs that I have, I really, really enjoy it. It's probably my favorite. But snuffing is also acceptable for both men and women to do. And you can do it in public. I mean, you get people that ask questions, but when they ask me questions, I fully explain what it is, tell them how it works, the history of it, and then I offer them some. Most people turn it down though. But on to the review. This is Kendal Brown. It comes in this kind of tin right here. I know you can't see it too well, but it looks to be backwards. And there's the top of it. I don't understand why it's backwards, but whatever. It has, I decant it into about a 10 gram smash box. But it's got it's very fine. It's fine, which is usually harder to take, but it's really moist. So that makes it a lot easier to take. I'm going to give you all some, if you ever do want to start snuff, which I know I'm probably going to get criticized for posting this video, but I really don't care. I enjoy it, and so that shouldn't. That's all that matters. But what you want to do when taking snuff is a lot of people say use an apple size seed, but I don't agree with that because I don't get enough nicotine like that. You want to take your, you can, there's so many ways to take it, but this is the way that I do it. You take your index and your thumb, or your middle finger and your thumb, take your snuff, get a good healthy pinch out, whatever you're comfortable with. Shake it so there's not so much on there. Now when you take this in, you want to either do really short, light, really short, fast, or rapid snorts. So it does, or you want to smell it like you're smelling a flower you're unsure of. Just breathe in slowly. Because if you do it really fast and too hard, it will shoot straight to the back of your throat or into your lungs. And that both sucks because you'll end up coughing either way. But I'm going to show you how to do it. Then you take either the same fingers or your other set of fingers, same fingers on the other hand, and just repeat the process. It's also handy to have a rag around, like this one. Now what I usually do is I'll take a sniff, wait about 5-10 minutes, put either half of a pinch in each nostril or a full pinch, and then wait about an hour, 30 minutes to an hour to take another one. It's got a little bit of a burn to it. I mean, it's the Kendal Brown does, but it's not as bad as some of the other ones that I've had. I had Toke espresso, and it's probably the worst burn that I've had out of many of the snuffs that I've got. But this one isn't so bad, and it subsides within a couple of seconds. It causes very, very little front drip or back drip. You'll get a little bit of front drip. That's why it's good to carry around a handkerchief or a piece of cloth that's a darker color, so you can wipe your nose. I mean, I can do this at work. I couldn't dip at work, so this is a good thing for me. But it's got a floral scent, like a bouquet of flowers, like randomly assorted flowers, and it's really nice because it hangs around for about 20 or 30 minutes, and it's just really good. And the nicotine content's pretty good for a snuff. I have a snuff that has higher nicotine content, but I only use that in the morning because it's really fine and dry and extremely hard to take. It's an Indian snuff. It's called White Elephant. But this is good stuff. I really like this brand. I think my next order, whenever I start to go low or whenever I'll get enough money, will be more Fribourg and Treyer because it's got a nice amount of perfume on it, but it's not enough to make me like sick, like the Wilson's Ashero Queen's Extra Strong. I had to let that air out for a couple hours because the scent was so strong on it I couldn't take it because it made me sick. But this one's like it's pretty strong, the scent is, but it's subtle almost. I mean, it's enough that you can smell it, but it's not overpowering. if I had to give it on a scale, 1 being the worst that I've ever had, 5 being the best, I'd give this a 5 out of 5. I would give Wilson's a Cheryl probably about a 3.5 or a 4, and that homemade stuff a 1 in comparison now. But if anybody wants any samples, I've got plenty. Just give me a contact on YouTube, and I will send you a little bit of everything that I've got. Probably not the Kendal Brown, because I'm almost afraid to use it because I don't want to run out of it. But I've got, like I said, I've got 25 grams of it, and I'm hoping I can make that last a couple of weeks. Well, I hope this has shed some light on it for you, and I hope you might actually try it one day.